It's kind of weird how life works, you know? I mean, Final Fantasy is one of the most well-known RPGs of all time, and I'm just now getting into it on the 15th game. Normally I wouldn't get into a game franchise at the end of the series, but my friend in this game informs me that this is a game for first-timers and fans. And that's a relief, because all I know about Final Fantasy is that 6 and 7 are considered to be one of the highlights of the RPG genre, and people see 13 as a disappointment at best. And for what I've heard, this game is supposed to make up for that disappointment. But I don't really care about all that. I'm just here to figure out whether this is a good game or not. So let's find out. Point blank, Final Fantasy 15 is an action-oriented RPG that is both addictively fun and kinda charming. But before I go any further, let me just point out that at the time of recording this, the Xbox One version is a glitch-filled mess. I've played both the PS4 and Xbox One versions, and by far the Xbox One version was the worst, with the picture quality constantly dipping, the geometry going all out of whack, and the numerous amount of crashes I had to deal with. I mean, all I did was run into this guy, and then this happened. You know, this is reminding me of another infamously glitchy game. And it probably doesn't help that the loading screens are just as long, if not longer, than that other game. Granted, it's nowhere near as obnoxious or frequent, but it's enough for me to get annoyed. And yes, this is in the PS4 version as well. And it's a shame because when you're actually playing the game, it's a lot of fun, especially in terms of combat. I was expecting this complex combat system with this huge learning curve that would take me a long time for me to get used to, but it's actually not that complex. One button attacks, another one dodges, and you can use your party's special abilities. It's pretty simple stuff, but it's executed in a way that makes it super exhilarating. Oh, and there's also this warp ability that you can use to attack an enemy for extra damage or run away when things get a little too hairy, all with the press of a button. Or two. And you can choose from different weapon types that are more than just cosmetic skins. Every enemy is weak to some weapon type but resistant to others, which encourages you to try out different weapons. And you can quick select between 4 different weapons to easily adapt to any situation without having to pause or go into your inventory. The game also gives you the ability to cast spells. See, there's this whole system where you can gather raw elemental energy from the world and use them in the menu to create stronger spells. You can even combine them with an item for additional effects like poisoning or healing. And while yes, there are disappointing aspects to the spellcasting, such as only having 3 spell types and your spells having the ability to harm your party, it's still a really enjoyable system that I'll gladly use whenever I can. Also, there's an upgrade mechanic where you have to take certain weapons to Sid with an item to make them better, but I have a bit of an issue with this. For one, as far as I can tell, Sid doesn't tell you what you need in order to upgrade your weapons. He'll randomly take stuff out of my inventory that I was about to sell and say, "Oh, I need that to upgrade your sword." It wouldn't be that much of an issue if some of the items didn't have these oddly specific criteria in order for them to drop. Criteria, mind you, that you'd have to look up online in order to know what to do. And since I'm on the topic of mechanics, can we talk about the stupid way they handle driving in this game? When you want to get behind the wheel, you are restricted on where you can go. It snaps you on the road, making it impossible to go off-roading. It makes your car feel more like a slightly more flexible train and limits your exploration options. That is until you get the flying upgrade that allows you to go virtually anywhere. But if you fail to land correctly, you'll die and have to start all the way back at your starting point. And landing isn't exactly easy either. So in the end, I think you're better off just letting Ignis drive or just fast travel if you don't feel like waiting 8 actual real-life minutes. I mean, they made it function like an interactive loading screen anyway, so why not? But at least the car gives you the chance to admire the gorgeous scenery and the atmospheric sounds to further immerse you in the game. I feel like when I play the game, I'm actually in the world with the amount of detail and colors there are. You know, when it's not doing this. And the music and sound effects do a great job at conveying the emotion of a cutscene or situation. Also, while you're in the car, you can listen to remastered versions of classic Final Fantasy tunes, which is probably a treat for someone who's a fan of the series. And this game does a great job with the characters in this beautiful world. Not so much our main character Noctis. He's basically generic brooding dude number 78 and I could care less about him. But I absolutely love the party members. All of those characters are defined, likable, and endearing. From Prompto's playfulness and skill with photography, to Ignis' intellect and cooking ability, to Gladius' strength and survival expertise. And their interactions with other cast members, enemies, the environment, and the Prince of Edge are a lot of fun to listen to. Now, if only the story they're in was better. Instead, what we got is this convoluted plot that lost me a bunch of times, with confusing character motives, failure to explain certain plot points, and trying to make me care about the Edge Prince. Now, it isn't a complete failure. I followed along well enough to know what I was doing. I just wish they spent more time on the why. But that ultimately doesn't take away from this game that I've spent hours upon hours playing. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things I didn't even mention, like the chocobos or the dungeon crawling. But that just goes to show how much there is to do in this game and how fun it really is. And it's for this reason and more that I have to give Final Fantasy 15 my love rating of Buddy. While I personally can't speak on what it does for a fan, I can surely say that as a first timer, I was completely blown away. Actually, from the words of my producer, who played nearly all the Final Fantasy games ever, this is the best unfinished Final Fantasy game I've ever played. The heck does that mean? Now, this game honestly makes me want to try out 6 and 7 and see how great those games are. Who knows, I may even do Let's Plays on them. That sound good? You think I should? Let me know in the comments and stuff. But whether I play it on the channel or decide to just do it in my leisure time, I can surely say that without a doubt that this will not be my Final Fantasy. God, that was cheesy.